One Winged Angel, an epic opera rock piece, places the final battle theme of the game, our last confrontation against Sephiroth. It starts with a marching bass playing straight staccato quarter notes together with the rest of the orchestra in a low register. In bars 3 and 4 we have a Hitchcock-like string staccato pattern and then back to the marching bass. Most of the chords you can find in this first section are diminished chords to amplify the tension. In bars 7 and 8 we have a fast downward triplet melody that finishes back on the marching bass. In bar 10 starts the first actual melody of the song. During this melody we have a D sharp which flirts with E harmonic minor, even though the bass sticks with E throughout this passage. Just like before, it keeps on using B flat to generate tension. Then on bar 12 the melody does a small pattern of 3 notes, E, B flat and A. This descending arpeggio has all 3 notes present in the chord that was being played at the beginning of the song. Here we have this triplet melody. Bass stays in E, but again we see how it keeps flirting with the note B flat, or in this case A sharp. After this downward Lydian augmented scale, we have the first change in the bass and also a change in time signature. Bar 21 to bar 23 plays a melody using a 7-note pattern with tons of chromatic movement. Bar 26 starts section B, with an ascending and descending arpeggio over these chords. The whole chord progression keeps D as the pedal note on the bass. Starts on D minor, then C minor, A major, and A flat major. Section C, the most famous of all, the choir singing for Sephiroth. As you can see, the whole melody movement in each choir section is always chromatic. Taking the sopranos for example, plays A, A flat, and B flat. Another example, the bass section is singing D and D flat only. With only chromatic movement, they create a chord progression which is D minor, D diminished, and B flat minor. This section culminates with the whole choir singing Sephiroth, then repeats itself with some variations at the end. Then we go on to section D, continuing with the choir. It modulates without any preparation to B flat minor. This section alternates between the use of E flat and E natural to continue the trend of using the diminished fifth as well as chromatic movement between the voices to generate tension. Harmonically speaking, we have the chords B flat minor, C7, and E flat minor. After that, we have another variation of section C. With the start of section E, we have a change in key from D minor back to E minor. But remember that just like before, Nobuo Uematsu keeps on using the diminished fifth as well as the natural fifth. Here starts a section that to me sounds like tango inspired. First of all, the melody sounds like being played on a bandoneon. Second, the percussion does a lot of small rudiments similar to rhythmic nuances from tango. Also, take a look at the backbeat syncopation in the rhythm section, and the heavy focus on beats 2 and 4. Third, the melody is harmonized by major sixths. That's also a sound commonly found in tango. Also, in the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, there is a track called Tango of Tears, which plays whenever the player loses a chocobo race. At the end of bar 77, the major sixth harmonization is broken by moving chromatically in different directions and landing on a tension point and then concluding this section. Here we are in section F, which alternates between two chords during the whole part, C7 and E minor. In bar 88, we have again the parallel major sixths with some quarter note triplets similar to what we had in section E. Section G has 4 inner parts. The first 2 bars, which have a flute melody, while we have some C7 chords on the background in the first bar and C sharp diminished in the second. Then we have the second part where the time signature changes to 6/8 and we have this kind of waltz accompaniment. This lasts only 3 bars and then we go back to the original flute melody. At last, we have these couple of bars with these triplet attacks at the end to culminate the section. Section H starts with some dark, low piano and the male section of the choir singing in unison. Later, we have the sopranos coming in. The song ends with the ending of section C while chanting in the name of Sephiroth. After that, it goes back to section C and it repeats the whole song again. There is a lot to absorb throughout the entire song, but something I find really interesting is how Nobuo Uematsu tried to capture the essence of Sephiroth by leitmotifs. I have a complete video about different leitmotifs throughout the whole game that you should check out. The main Sephiroth leitmotif comes from the song Those Chosen by the Planet. Take a look at it. The whole motif is this embellishment to go from A away and back to A, G sharp and B flat, back to A. This type of 3-note chromatism is abundant in One Winged Angel, and I think this is one of the characteristics Nobuo Uematsu tried to keep as an identity for Sephiroth's personality. That is all for now. If you're interested in more video game music analysis and video game music arrangements, subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Stay safe and see you next time.